What is up, everybody? This is Anthony with the VR 365 live show. Technical difficulties tend to happen. I don't know what is going on, man. So here I was about 3 minutes prior to 11 a.m. getting everything set up. Everything appears to be working just fine. Then all of a sudden, bam, the computer just freaking crashes. I can't do anything. My mouse won't move. I couldn't do Control Alt Delete. Nada. None of that stuff would work. And I actually had to literally pull the power plug on my computer just to be able to restart my computer. But I thought, okay, no big deal. I will just restart my computer. Everything will be good. You know, no really big deal here. Nothing to worry about. Restart my computer. And then so I'm starting to get everything set up again and about to start it. And you know when you first hook up a USB device and it goes doo-doo-doo, it makes this little doo-doo-doo noise, you know, the USB noise. When you first hook up like a USB device or you disconnect a USB device, it'll make that little noise. Well, it was just making that noise non-stop. It simply wouldn't stop. It was doo-doo-doo-doo, doo-doo-doo-doo, doo-doo-doo-doo. And it just would not freaking stop. Finally, what I did was I disconnected. I have another camera that's right here, not the one that I'm using, but I have another little USB webcam that I use, and I use it for Skype to try to have like guests and stuff. It's kind of this thing where you kind of like spoof Skype to have a guest, and then it's a long story, but anyway, it's another little USB camera. I removed that, and then finally the noise stopped. So it was something to do. I don't know what the deal is with this particular USB camera. Not sure what the deal is with that, but went ahead and got rid of that. So now we are back in business. Of course, one of the downsides though, it's Murphy's Law, man. It's Murphy's Law. Whatever can possibly go wrong will go wrong. That seems to be the case. Job is here. Job is here. Job is in the building. He's in the backyard. He's in between whatever he's doing right now. So it's all quiet. It's all beautiful. But he's going to start revving up all of his devices very soon. It's going to get really loud and distracting. I know you guys don't typically hear it. I do. So anyway, it is. There he goes. He just started up one of the lawnmowers or something. Yeah. Here it is. Okay, so anyway, it is 11:12 a.m. It is Wednesday. It is November 28th. What the hell is up? So one of the things I can say, so on today's show, I'm going to have a little bit of coverage of a game called Squishies. Yes, Squishies for PlayStation VR. I believe Brainseed Factory is the developer. Relatively late last night, I happened to bounce over to my email. I was checking my emails, and I had an email from Brainseed Factory. I had reached out to them, I don't know, maybe 2 days ago or something about Squishies. I thought, you know, Squishies looks kind of cool. Maybe I could get a code for Squishies, and I can tell you guys about Squishies. And so very late last night, I did get a review code thanks to Brainseed Factory, and I got it hooked up on my PlayStation VR. I jumped into it last night. Haven't spent a ton of time. Only was in there for maybe about 25 minutes, 20 minutes, 25 minutes. So a very early impression of Squishies. I'll be talking more about Squishies in the coming shows when I've had more time to play it, but definitely we'll get into that a little bit later. So we do have that to look forward to. But why don't we go ahead and see if we have some trailers that maybe we can go to today, some stuff that we could get into. And I do have a trailer. Let me go ahead and grab one of the miscellaneous trailers I have. So, you know, one of the things that I've heard about recently was a lot of people are talking about Apollo 11. And I didn't know what the hell people were talking about because I was like, Apollo 11, wasn't that something that came out like a long, long time ago? Like, why does anybody care about this? But apparently it's some like new Apollo 11 thing that just recently came out. And I do have the release trailer for that. I have not seen this yet. So why don't we go ahead and watch this together and just see what this is all about and check it out. So let's go ahead and take a look at this Apollo 11
Why, some say the moon. Why choose this as our goal? And they may well ask, why climb the highest mountain? Why, 35 years ago, fly the Atlantic? Why does Rice play Texas? We choose to go to the moon.
T-minus 1 minute 35 seconds on the Apollo mission, the flight to land of the first men on the moon. .1201. Roger, 1201 alarm. We're go, same tide.
Neil, this is Houston. Do you copy about the contingency sample? Over?
Alrighty, so that is Apollo 11 HD. We choose to go to Mars and do all the other things. Why does Texas play rice? Why does Texas play rice? Don't you ask yourself that question almost every day? Why does Texas play rice? It doesn't make any sense, but they do. And they do it because it is hard. I love that John F. Kennedy speech. It's a great one. He says something about rice playing Texas. I love that. Okay, but this is Apollo 11 HD. Looks pretty freaking crystal clear, and it looks nice. And so I guess there was some kind of Apollo thing already, but this is a new one. I'm a little bit late to the game on this, so I don't really know what's going on here, but you do get to explore the surface of the moon. And this is something, honestly, when it comes to VR, you do want to be on the moon. You want to be on Mars. You want to be on Pluto and Mercury and everywhere else. You want to touch the surface. You want to see what's going on. As Job gets closer and closer to my back door and I can barely hear myself think, you want to see this, Apollo 11 HD. Okay, so one of the things I did want to do is I want to go to my web browser window, but here's the problem, guys. I restarted. Okay, here's Texas playing rice. Oh, I missed it. I wanted to hear the Texas rice part.
On the Apollo mission, the flight.
Can't get it. Okay, but I restarted my computer, so my web browser is freaking screwed. So let's go ahead and go over to the web browser window. See, sorry, we are having trouble getting your pages back. So I don't have any of my pages dialed in. But you know what I was going to do here is we can do the old Google trick. You know, Google, Gunheart Steam. Let's get on to Steam. Save 30% on Gunheart. That is a beautiful thing. Yeah, Gunheart, I don't see 30% off now. But anyway, let's find this Apollo 11 something. Apollo 11 HD. Why are you not showing up? Apollo 2Ls? There we go. Okay. Apollo 11 VR HD. I guess this is the new one right here. Okay, here it is. Yeah, awesome. So it is positive. This did come out on November 23rd. It is by Immersive VR Education Limited. This is $10. There is a bundle. You can get Titanic VR and you can get Apollo 11 VR HD in a bundle, 25% off. You can get that for a little over $22. And there also is the Apollo 11 VR regular version and Apollo 11 VR HD bundle. That is 50% off, and that's actually cheaper than buying Apollo 11 a la carte. So, you know, $9.83. So you save a little bit right there. So why not? You can save yourself 16 pennies. You get the first Apollo 11, and if you get a code for that, if you get a key for that, you could give it to somebody else, and you can enjoy Apollo 11 HD. So reviews are positive, not a ton of reviews. Does look pretty cool. I do want to land on the moon. I mean, this is the kind of things that VR is meant for. You know, when am I going to get to the moon? I remember I was a little kid, right, in like the 70s and the 80s, and I was thinking, man, in the year 2020, there's going to be hotels on the moon. In the year, not 2020, in the year 2000. I thought in the year 2000 there would be hotels on the moon. I thought in the year 2000 we would have flying cars. You know, I thought all kinds of shit would be going on by the year 2000. Okay, so here's Apollo 11, And here's Apollo 11 HD, a hell of a lot better. Now, do people that bought Apollo 11 get Apollo 11 HD for free? Like any good company would give that for free when they bonus it up? Hell no. You got to buy it brand new yourself. Yeah, here's the differences. Oh boy, look at these little bars and stuff. Look a hell of a lot better, right? So there is an improvement. You can obviously see this improvement from the 2016 version. There are going to be some people out there, though, that are going to cry a little bit of bloody murder about the fact that they are not getting Apollo 11 for free. And Fluke says, I'm surprised Anthony hasn't seen the original version of this. No. You know what, Fluke? It is kind of bonkers, but every once in a blue moon, I got to pop my chat out. I never did that because when I restarted my computer, hold on, let me go ahead and pop it. There we go. Let's pop it like it's hot. Okay, I've never tried any of the Apollo versions. I never tried the original one, never tried this one, never tried it on the go or anything else. And let's see, I'm trying to get back to where we are on chat. I think Anthony, sorry guys. Okay, Kevgret says, I think Anthony likes saying squishies. I absolutely do. I love saying squishies. Yeah, everyone likes saying squishies. That's Lethal Weasel VR. Hell yes, I like saying squishies. That's why it's my thumbnail and everything. I'm really into squishies. That's why I wanted to reach out to Brain Seed Factory and try to get me some squishies so I can get my squishies on. Okay, MainFan says, I bought Apollo 11 HD. It looked better. Don't give us too many details, MainFan. You know, you're too much information right there. Paradise Decay says, we choose to go to Mars. Yeah. Get to the chopper. And let's see. Definitely looks better than the original. This is Fluke, but it's still the same experience. John Bardo says, I loved Apollo 11. This looks even better. And Fluke says, it's just the same experience, Anthony. It's just an updated version of it. And then Mark Bond says, why does Michigan play Ohio State? No, that makes sense, doesn't it? Michigan and Ohio State, they've always played Ohio State. Why does Texas play Rice? That's the freaking question of the day. And Paradise Decay says, this is by the same developers. Looks like a remaster with some bonus elements. Been to the moon and back, not a big deal. That's Shirzad Khan City. Yeah, so what I was talking about before, was anybody else like this? Was anybody a kid in the 70s and 80s? And didn't you think, like, when you thought of the year 2000, you thought of flying cars. You thought there'd be robots walking around. You thought there would be hotels on Mars. Come on, you saw Moonraker. I saw Moonraker. They had freaking space resorts out there. Like, where is all this futuristic shit? It didn't happen. I was lied to. I remember being in the 70s and 80s, and you would see a sci-fi movie, and the movie would start, and it'd be the year 2007, and you'd be like, oh my God, the year 2007, man, that's going to be so awesome. Aliens living among us, flying cars, robots. What's going to happen in the year 2007? And we've got to the year 2007, and not a hell of a lot is going on. We do have cell phones. We do have these screens that are flat that we can, you know, like posters or like a picture frame that we can put on the wall. That's about as futuristic as we got. We do not have flying cars. I want a refund. Okay, some people are talking about Hellblade is on sale for 50%, or was on sale for 50%. So now I'm kind of getting back to where we are in chat. Okay, Shirzad Khan City says, I thought I would have a girlfriend by 2020. There's still some time left. Well, you know what? Maybe, Shirzad, if you move to Japan, if you go to SIGGRAPH 2018, which starts up on December 4th, you could probably get a virtual girlfriend. I bet you they'll have that at SIGGRAPH, a legit virtual girlfriend that can be your lover forever. So 2020, it might be right on time. And MainFan says it is $4.99 if you had the original. Okay, so you do get a nice deal if you had the original. And Shirzad Khan City says, Back to the Future movie made me save money for a hoverboard. Yeah, where's the hoverboard? The Cubs did win the World Series, right? That was something that was predicted in Back to the Future. And we don't have holograms everywhere. You know, we do have VR. We do have VR. And Caleb Law checking in is saying, you know, there's aliens living all around us all the time. And T-Dub says 2001, A Space Lie. Okay, so I think I have another trailer to get into. I love trailers because it kind of takes me off the hook a little bit. I can throw on a trailer and then kind of try to find something else to talk about. So the next trailer that I'm about to throw on the screen is called Clash of Chefs VR. And the reason I want to throw this on the screen is because I was looking at some Steam pages the other day for some various VR games. Somehow I happened to come across Clash of Chefs VR, and I was like, man, this has a really cool logo. This actually looks kind of cool. Then I saw the trailer. I was like, the trailer looks kind of cool as well. What is this game? Clash of Chefs VR. Let's go ahead and check out this trailer, and we can check out the Steam page right after that. That's going to be fun and exciting, right? Okay, let's go ahead and check it out. Did you see it's coming in November? Not coming in November, coming in November. So yeah, I mean, this kind of looks like Job Simulator 2.0, right? I mean, it looks very, very Job Simulator-ish, very colorful, very bright and vibrant. I don't know if this trailer is truly indicative of the final game that we get, but it looks kind of cool. The only problem that I do have with some of these kind of chef games like VR The Diner Duo or Dead Hungry, there's a lot of different chef games that are going on out there. And one of the downsides of it is it just turns into kind of like a chaos simulator. And it's like, how much shit can you deal with before you finally panic? See, coming in November 2018, I gotta hope that that was a joke and is not an indication that our educational system is failing dramatically. But yes, this is this chef game, and you know, I like the logo. I liked a lot of stuff about it. Let's go ahead and check out the Steam page for this. Bouncing over here, and here is the Steam page, Clash of Chefs VR. I thought this logo is kind of basic, but kind of cool. I kind of like it. And, you know, the Steam page itself looks pretty good. So this is Flat Hill Games. Now, this came out back on November 16th. It only has one user review. So the mom of the developer has checked in, but nobody else. This is the problem that we have in VR. How has this been available for a couple of weeks now? And I'm just finding out about it now. When it has a pretty bomb-ass logo, it looks colorful, bright, and cheerful. The trailer is very good as well. The price is $20, not exactly cheap. Let's see what they're talking about here. There's multiplayer cooking battles, single-player missions. Clash of Chefs VR is all about who's the fastest and most skilled cook. Prepare ordered food and drinks to satisfy your customers, compete against other players online, beat their score, and win the bragging rights as the best chef in the world. You know, my wife has been watching, this is kind of off topic, but I don't know, it's on Netflix or Amazon Prime, but my wife keeps watching this cooking show. It's like an international cooking show. Now, this is on Netflix. It's already happened. It's already over with or whatever, but she's watching it on Netflix, and they're like, we're going to cook for Brazil. And they bring out like 3 people that are like supposed to be representative of like 3 very important people in Brazil. And they bring out like a supermodel and a couple of chefs in Brazil. And then all these people are trying to cook Brazilian meals. And then it's like, okay, now we're going to do Japan. And then they bring out 3 people that are supposedly very influential in Japan, a model and 2 chefs. And they're supposed to make some Japanese dish. And then they do Spain and they do Mexico. And I don't know why I'm bringing this up, but my wife just happens to be watching that, and I ended up watching a lot of it. But yeah, you would think there would be more of these kinds of chef games, making food. They really should have somebody that comes out and is like, you know, I don't really like what you're doing here with this food. The sauce just tastes absolutely horrible. You know, they need to have somebody come out and criticize you after you make your food and all of that. But this is Clash of Chefs. Kind of amazed that I haven't heard about it. Flat Hill Games. I think the trailer looks pretty nice. That is one to keep our eyes on. So I'm going to go ahead and bounce back over here to our normal window here. And Mark Bond says that's almost an exact copy of Diner Duo. John Bardo says that was a cute trailer. I think it's a very well done trailer. I really do. John Bardo also says it looks like it has pretty good physics. Charles Van Nolan says our education is failing dramatically. We're like 50th in education internationally. That is hilarious. Yeah, Charles Van Nolan always checking in with some facts. And Cyan VR says those are some elite bacon slicing skills. Yeah, I noticed that as well. I saw that guy going, I can't do that, man. I cannot chop that good. So I'll probably would really suck. But look at those visuals. I love the colors. Very vibrant, very beautiful. Don't know if the sound effects are nice and sweet as well. But yeah, very job simulator, very VR the Diner Duo, and a lot of the other cooking games that we've seen as well. Shirzad Khan City says 19 is a little bit much. Well, 19 is a really key cutoff point, because if you get to that 2, if you put a 2 on the front of your game price, you're in an entirely different category now. $19.99, based on what I'm looking at, that seems reasonable. This looks kind of like a shooty fruity kind of a game, or a Dick Wild, very vibrant and joyful. I like this little logo. I think they got a pretty decent logo. I don't know what's up with the November. I'm hoping that is trying to be a little bit of a comedy thing. Flat Hill Games, never heard of them. Looks kind of cool. Anthony, don't drop your head for watching a cooking show. Many of us have wives too. Did Anthony just imitate Gary? No, I didn't. I just imitated a random English bloke. Okay, that's it. Cookie show? Hell yeah, sign me up. Yeah, no, I don't watch the cooking shows. My wife does. They're the same every freaking time, man. They're the same every freaking time. They always get down. They're like, okay, here's the last 3. One of you is going to cook your last plate. One of you is going home. One of you. And, you know, they do the whole thing. They string you along to the very end. And in the show my wife is watching, there's this one like Mexican dude and some guy from like Brazil, and they're like a pair. They are always in the fight, like they're always in the 3 that's about to get bumped, but they're always surviving and moving on. And I kind of believe they're going to come back and win it all, because it would be the perfect story for a show like that. And we all know how fake those shows are, right? Okay, so let me see if I can grab another trailer that we can get into. So I have a trailer. It's called Evoke. I don't remember if I've played this or not. So I'm going to go ahead and play it again. Play it again, Sam. And if I've already played this, somebody let me know. But we'll talk about it after we get done here. So let's check out Evoke.
You brought me back, have you? You just couldn't leave your old master to rest. Oh, I suppose you've forgotten how to use your powers then. Well, I fear times have changed since we've been gone. We should begin before it's too late. So, are you ready? So,
Okay, so that is Evoke, and I'm not sure if I've ran this trailer at all. I've been having a lot of problems with 4K video downloader. Do you guys remember how much I'd be like, oh, 4K video downloader. I love 4K video downloader. It's so awesome. Well, I'm having some weird situations. I probably need to delete 4K video downloader and re-download it, because it seems like I'll go to YouTube and I'll see a cool trailer for a game or a halfway decent trailer for a game, and I'll be like, okay, I'm gonna go grab that trailer so I can show it off on my show. It's something to talk about, something to bring up, some of these VR games that are flying below the radar. And I'll try to grab some of these trailers, and it's like a 50-50 kind of a deal whether or not the trailer is going to download or not. What is going on with 4K video downloader? And so I went to my other computer. I have another computer in another room where I have 4K video downloader on that, and I actually downloaded a whole bunch of trailers that for some reason I'm not able to download on this computer. So it's some kind of weird thing, right? And Evoke was one of these trailers, and I don't remember if I've shown this one off or not, but I think this was one of the trailers that I wanted to show off temporarily and then never was able to because 4K video downloader is screwing up on me. But yeah, this game is called Evoke. This has been out for a little while here. And let's go ahead and switch over to the web browser here, and we can go ahead and check out the Steam page. This is Evoke. It launched on November 18th. The developer is Polyflame. This is another game, just like that chef game. It's going for 20 bucks, and it's another game that has kind of slipped through the cracks a little bit here. We only have, well, actually, no user reviews. You want to talk about how harsh it is in the VR market. Of course, it was kind of a Debbie Downer show towards the end of our show yesterday when we got into that subject of whether or not indie companies can make any money. And that reminds me, I probably should go to yesterday's show and take a look at some of the comments left on the show. But Evoke says that it is a VR spell casting experience. Greyhelm Forest is on the verge of being completely corrupted by the undead. This looks like a job for an almighty and powerful wizard. Oh, he's all booked out, is he? Damn, well, perhaps you will be up for the challenge. You know what? That kind of sounds familiar. So I'm thinking I did actually show this trailer a couple of days ago. So that is my bad. But it's actually 4K video downloaders bad because it's confusing me on which trailers I've actually shown and which ones I haven't. So that is Evoke. Okay, but you know what we can do? Like I was mentioning, we can go ahead and, well, actually, you know what? I'll set that up in a second here. Let me go and grab a new trailer. Let's see here. What other trailer can I get into? Actually, what I want to do here is grab all files. Okay, so I'm going to grab a trailer for something called Spicy Tales. And this was in the news because it was like a Kickstarter thing. It's kind of like a Japanese anime kind of a thing. Basically, let's just watch the trailer and see what it's all about.
狼と香辛料 VR。
Okay, so that is Spicy Tales or Spice and Wolf, spicytales.net. That's the website right there. Yeah, Spicy Tales. Okay, Spicy Tales presents. Okay, so it's being developed by Spicy Tales. I kind of like, you know, I like the color and everything. This type of shit reminds me of Nostos and some of the other Bright things, but like all this anime stuff, don't know that I'm going to really get into this. Maybe it's kind of like a dating simulator. I don't know. But yeah, some people love the hell out of this stuff. It looks kind of cool. animated. I know that they had like some kind of Kickstarter or something, and they got all the backers that they needed. They were able to raise a ton of money for this. In fact, originally, I think this was just going to be like a PC VR type of thing, but they raised enough money where they're going to have a PlayStation VR port for this as well. So that's coming in early 2019. Don't know that much about it, but it allowed me to delay time a little bit so I can switch over to my web browser here and we could cover some of the comments that were left on yesterday's episode. So this is yesterday's episode, and I think there are some interesting comments. Okay, Richard Andrews wants to talk some major crap. Holy crap, you talk so slow. I've always watched you at 2 times speed, man, because I just watched YouTube at that speed, bro. I had you on normal by accident, and oh my god, it sounded like you aren't super slow-mo. No wonder your videos are so long. Ha ha ha. Still love your content. I'm just legit shocked. Do I really talk that slow? I know I pause and stuff, but do I really talk that slow? Okay, Richard Andrews, hey, if you want to watch me at 2 times speed, 3 times speed, 4 times speed, it is all gravy. Go ahead. I'm all good with that. Paradise Decay left a comment yesterday, catching up on the discussions here. It's not just VR indies struggling, it's all indies struggling these days with the amount of content coming out daily on Steam. These developers need to come out with something new and original to get attention, just like Beat Saber did. I don't know that Beat Saber is really new and original, but Beat Saber was the right game at the right time, done in the right way. It's not really, there's nothing very original about Beat Saber, but they just found the right hook with these lighted lightsabers and banging it. It just worked perfectly in VR. So that just made a lot of sense there. Okay, Alan Harrington says, when I first got into VR, I bought every game that I thought looked good. I spent a small fortune because I was trying to support VR. Then when you realize you have 70 games that you haven't played yet, again, let's not collect games. It is not Pokemon. It is not plushies. It's not anything to be collectible. It's not a collectible. It's not baseball cards. Then when you realize you have 70 games you haven't played yet, you wake up and smell the coffee. Now I put games on my wish list like everyone else in Pancake Land and wait for the right time. Pancake Land, that sounds like an awesome game to play. Just bought a PS4 Pro, PSVR, Move, and Aim. Aw, man, you are all in, Alan Harrington, so you're going to have a great time on a lot of PSVR exclusives that you've been missing out over all these years. Okay, VR Spry Guy. I forgot to mention that I do plan on getting Primordial at some point. I've had to put a hold on buying games at the moment. Way too many I haven't even played. It's a trend. A lot of us, that's why I have this rule. My number one rule, don't buy a game unless you're gonna play it that day. Now, somebody came in and said, wait a minute, no, I don't want to have to play it that day, then I'm never gonna buy anything. I don't mean you have to play the whole entire game that day. I'm just saying, if you're gonna buy a game today, for example, if you're gonna buy that Chef's VR game, the Battle of the Chefs or whatever it's called, Chef vs. Chef VR, if you're gonna buy that today, you gotta put 20 minutes into it. You don't have to play the whole game, but you gotta download it and play it for 20 minutes and then maybe revisit it later. Just make that rule with yourself. If you make that rule with yourself, you won't buy every little game that you see now and then, because you'll be like, if I buy it, I gotta download it, I gotta play it for at least 20 minutes. So you'll give yourself a little check there. That is my suggestion right there. Hybrid Energy says, good to see Anthony go off on his futurist rants again. He needs to write for Black Mirror. Black Mirror has great writers. They don't need me. They definitely don't. But thanks so much, Hybrid Energy. I like thinking about futuristic stuff. I really like that. Pinnacle Rising says, it's tough to make a living in a lot of areas these days. Okay, Paul Smith, that Fruit for the Village game, was thinking of checking it out, but then watched the video on Steam. The narrator pretty much tells you the game will be boring and repetitive. Poor marketing. That's how you lose 42 grand. And yeah, so anyway, I know there was an interesting comment that was on here. Zuck says we need 10 million people on one single platform, and once that happens, we can pay developers somewhat reasonably, and only then it'll take off. That's actually an interesting comment there, Lance. And, you know, that's what the Oculus Quest is all about. Maybe the Oculus Quest is going to be the savior for VR because, you know, 10 million people, that actually is a good point. It's like once you have a platform that is 10 million strong, then you could have a little indie game and it only has to get a percentage of the overall 10 million user base, and it might be able to be a net positive if you have 10 million. And none of our VR platforms have 10 million. PlayStation VR hasn't even hit 4 million yet. HTC Vive, Oculus Rift, nowhere near that. Oculus Go isn't even anywhere near that. And so right now, our hopes are kind of pinned on the Oculus Quest. When it releases next year, it's going to be $399. It's going to be all in one box. It's going to be available at Best Buy, Walmart, Target, all of your major retailers where you could buy a product like that, and somebody, Joe Walmart, is going to be able to go to Walmart, his own store, and he's going to be able to find a box there for $400 that has the whole kit in caboodle. I mean, how likely was it that I was going to say kit in caboodle today, but I did say it. And the whole box is there, and it plays Super Hot, and it plays Beat Saber, and it plays Creed, or I don't know, who knows what it's going to play, but Dead and Buried, and all kinds of games you can play on your Quest. Will that be the magical sauce? Is that what we need, the Oculus Quest, to take us to the future and get 10 million people so that these developers can freaking get paid? That's actually a decent comment there, Lance. Okay, VR Spry Guy says, I'm just about to jump into a game on my Viveport subscription. I've thought about this before, but was wondering how much devs get paid when I borrow a game from Viveport. Well, I'll tell you this much, VR Spry Guy. They get paid a hell of a lot more than they do if you freaking torrent that shit. And I'll tell you right now, I do not believe in torrenting. I do not believe in piracy. Now, am I an angel? Have I never pirated anything in my life? No, I have. I will freely admit it. I've pirated shit. I've done shit that I'm not proud of at all. But you know what? I've changed my ways. One of the things I've come to realize from a standpoint of piracy, and there's probably somebody out there right now that is watching this show that pirates every game under the sun. And I'm talking to you, buddy. And if you do that, here's my thing. I'm not saying like you're a horrible person, you need to go to jail for the rest of your life. No, I'm not saying that. What I am going to say, though, is paralysis by analysis, or there's just too much selection. I remember there was this one time when I was pirating shit, and I had this gigantic hard drive that was filled to the brim with every game known to man. And you know what I discovered? I didn't want to play anything. I had too much selection. And I would go in and I'd look at this game and I'd be like, okay, I'm going to play this. I'd play it for 2 minutes. Now I want to play this game for 2 minutes. Now I want to play that game for 2 minutes. Now I want to play this game for 2 minutes. Now I want to play that game for 2 minutes. And you know what? It's a net negative. You don't want to have everything. If you have everything, you have nothing. Now, I'm not saying be a minimalist. I'm not saying go to the extreme and live in one of those little tiny houses that are like 400 square feet and they like fit the refrigerator into the bathroom and it turns into a bed and it's all made out of wood and it's like hipster paradise. I'm not saying you necessarily need to go down that road, but what I am saying is you don't want to own the entire candy store, because if you own the entire candy store, you don't know what freaking candy to shovel into your mouth and you don't enjoy any of it. Instead, just have a couple pieces of candy and enjoy the hell out of them. It's better that way. So that's my little rant on piracy there. But Viveport, look, these devs get paid. They get a percentage of money. They're not doing it for free. They're getting something out of it. Maybe not as much if you outright bought their game. They're definitely not getting that much, but they're getting something. So don't worry about that. Okay, Chris Richardson is checking in. Hey there, Anthony. You forgot You forgot about your PSVR issue with reflective surfaces. There was a bit where you thought your setup was broken. Yeah, that is true. That is true. I was playing Skyrim VR, and I was like, dude, I don't know what's wrong with Skyrim VR, man. I'm playing Skyrim every day, and my tracking, like, you know, I remember telling people, so I'm playing Skyrim VR. My arms are like this. This was on PlayStation VR. My arms are like this, and then all of a sudden I'm playing the game, and now my arms are like this, but my arms are really like this, but they're over here. Like, what the hell happened? And what I didn't realize is my wife, she put this poster thing, this artwork on the wall behind me that has a glass covering over it and reflections up the yin yang. And so yesterday I was talking about Jeff Gersman, I was talking about Giant Bomb, how I thought it was kind of whack that they thought the PSVR was broken, and they said the PSVR kind of sucked and everything, and that they needed to figure out their reflection issues. But here, in defense of myself, look, I'm not in a freaking studio where I'm filming shows like Giant Bomb. They are in a freaking studio. They need to figure that shit out if they're going to talk about PSVR being broken. So I will kind of defend myself with that. But he is saying little things like that can go undetected and become super frustrating. I myself had the issue with Christmas lights a friend had on the wall. Yeah, you know, I heard about that with some of the Oculus Rift. Some people are noticing some problems with Christmas lights kind of interfering. So there is some weird shit that can come out of the blue. That's absolutely possible. And then the final quote that we have here, or the final comment, Scion VR says, some games speak to everyone like music games, whereas Primordian speaks to sci-fi violence lovers. That is a smaller audience. I don't know about the violence part. I mean, yeah, the violence does get pretty harsh. There is decapitations. Heads will slide right the hell off. You're gonna take it to these predator enemies. You're gonna take them to the woodshed and hack and slash the shit out of them. But it really is a sci-fi powerhouse, and I'm kind of amazed that it hasn't been a net positive for Primordium. But we don't want to go into the negativity right now, do we? Okay, so switching back over here to chat. Let's see, switching back over here to chat. Adults give a crap when someone worked to produce stuff we use enjoy. Okay, wait, let me turn the volume down on this trailer here. Hipster Paradise is my new VR game. I wouldn't be surprised if it would be a VR game. You build your own tiny house. You're trying to construct the awesomest, tiniest house in under 500 square. And that's what Charles Nolan says, yeah. Where you try to build the smallest, tiniest place with all the amenities. Awesome. Phil Yarn says, good point, dude. Yeah, I'm telling you, if you're talking about the piracy thing, walk away from piracy. It's a net negative. It'll actually make you less happy. Less is more. Less is more. Less is more. Less is more. Okay, let's see. Shirzad Khan City says, I live in a tiny house of VR. It's the largest place I have ever been in. And Shirzad Khan City says, what's up with Borderlands controversy over move controllers and locomotion? Okay, I haven't really heard anything about that. And Minister James Bergen says, okay, I'm deleting my entire library except 3 games, just like Tezrim. Too much candy for this guy. And Paul Smith says, I love sci-fi and violence, so I got a double dose with Primordium, but he hasn't played it yet. And his legally procured candy store. Absolutely. I have a legal candy store. It's all the developers that have showered a tremendous amount of love on me and support, giving me free access to games so I can report to people like you. And you know, speaking of that, why don't I go ahead and grab the trailer for Squishies? And I love to say Squishies. We all love to say Squishies. Doesn't everybody like to say Squishies? So let me grab the Squishies gameplay trailer, and we can talk a little bit about Squishies. So yeah, this game has been available for a little while now here, and I was working on the rankings, or I don't know if I was working on something. Somehow I ended up seeing the name Squishies, and I thought, oh yeah, that game Squishies came out. It looks kind of cool. Why don't I maybe shoot off an email to Brain Seed Factory and see if I can get a review code for this game and maybe give it a little run and check it out. And so It was relatively late last night. I was checking some emails, and I had an email from Brainseed Factory. They hooked me up with a code, so full disclosure there. And I went ahead and threw it onto my PSVR, and I jumped into this last night. And I was playing this last night, probably for only about 20 minutes, so barely got into this thing. But here's what I gotta say. It is freaking dope. I'm really liking Squishies. It's really freaking awesome. Now, the controls are harsh. The controls are convoluted. The controls are complicated in a way. In a way they are. Like, you're going to have to take a little bit of time and wrap your mind around the controls of this game because they give you a lot of abilities here in Squishies. The other thing is, you're going to want to play this with your 2 Move controllers. This is definitely a Move controller game, and it's kind of a Move controller game where you probably are going to want to just sit down in a chair but have your Move controllers ready, and you're going to be moving them around, and you're going to do stuff. Now, what are you using your Move controllers for? Well, as you can kind of see here, you have these little squishy guys. They're these little balls. They don't do anything. You got to move them. You got to push them around. You got to pull them. You got to guide them onto things. You got to guide them from point A to point B. That's pretty much how this game is played. It's kind of like a puzzle game. It's kind of like Arca's Path a little bit, from that standpoint where you're basically guiding things around. The levels are colorful and beautiful and vibrant. There's happy little music that is going on at the same time. But here is the best part of Squishies. The best part of it is, remember what I said about tabletop basketball VR? I said one of the best things about VR is if you can move your table up and down like brass tactics. You could get that table up here, you can bring it closer to you, you can see little things moving around, and they look like little holograms moving around. Well, Brainseed Factory was listening, because you can grab, like, basically when you're playing this game, there is an area that is laid out before you. Okay, there's this area that's laid out before you. You can take your controls and you can zoom in and make it tiny, so it's this little tiny thing sticking out in front of you like that, or you can zoom it out and make it huge, okay? You can raise it up, you can raise it down, you can grab it and pull it towards you like brass tactics. And you could also take it and you could go zzz and turn it that way, or zzz and turn it this way. Now, that's where the downside is, because being able to do all of that, it's rather complicated, and there's a lot of little buttons, and they use all of them. So when you first get into Squishies, it's going to take you a minute just to figure out what the F is going on in terms of how to move the world around, how to raise it up, how to bring it closer to you. And I haven't gotten into any of this where you're making your own levels and stuff. I haven't even gotten near that. I've barely just scratch the surface. Everybody grab your shot of Jack Daniels and swig it hard, because yeah, scratch the surface. I've only been in this thing for 20 minutes, but I've already been through a number of levels, and it's kind of a time trial thing too. It's kind of like Angry Birds. So you'll like take level 1, you'll go into level 1, you have your little remote control there. You have a little squishy guy that's just sitting right there, and you blow him. You're like blowing on him, and it's pushing him along. You're pushing him along with air, and you're guiding him to the goal there. And you get your squishies to the goal. You pass the level. But there's different ways you can get your squishies to the goal. There's these little crystals that you want to collect. And so it's kind of Angry Bird style, because you'll quickly get through level 1, but you'll realize, it took me 30 seconds to get through level 1. I know I can do it in 5 seconds. And so you'll go back and you'll want to do that. But then you'll be like, wait a minute, I know I can do it in 5 seconds and get all of the crystals as well. So you'll go back and you'll want to get all of the crystals. And, you know, so it's kind of that Angry Bird thing. So you kind of go, Angry Bird, it's kind of that Angry Bird, you know, that big yellow bird. It's kind of that Angry Bird thing. You're going to want to go back over these levels and do it a little bit faster, a little bit better. And that is Squishies. Don't you just want to squish them? You know you want to squish them. Yeah, squishies. So I'm really liking this. Again, scratching the surface is a phrase that I love to use. And why don't I go to the web browser window? Let me look up squishies on PlayStation Store. I think this is going for like $29.99. It is not a cheapo game by any stretch of the imagination. Yeah, imagine if you had to take a shot every time I said stretch of the imagination. You would be taking some shots. Squishies. Okay, I see it on the blog. I'm trying to see it on the store. PlayStation. Squishies PlayStation. Okay, here it is. Okay, I'm grabbing this, and then we will switch now to our webby browser window. Here we are. Okay, so Squishies is $24.99. Not as bad as I thought it was. And it's by Brain Seed Factory, 25 bucks. Get lost in a cheerful world full of adventures. Squishies is a single-player puzzle platform experience built exclusively for PlayStation VR. Solve puzzles and save squishies, or be creative and build your own levels, then share them with the community. Yeah, I really like this. I'm having a lot of fun with this. It's not cheap, I'll admit it. You know, 25 bucks isn't exactly cheap, but it is colorful. It is bright. It's a nice little fantastical, colorful world. There's lots of different levels that are pre-built, and you're trying to get your little squishy guys through the levels. That's kind of how, this is a squishy right there. That's what we're talking about with squishies. And these are what your move controllers look like as you're doing it. But yeah, squishies, not bad at all. I was very surprised by how good it was, actually. So let's go ahead and bounce over here to chat and see what's going on. Okay, Phil Urine says, all right, I'm back to work. Back to work, guys. Good show, Anthony. And hit that like button, peeps. Absolutely. Hit the like button, because think about this. Have you ever known a YouTuber that could have so many technical difficulties, so many problems, so many issues, but still somehow, some way finds the ability to get through a goddamn show and make it salvageable? No, you don't find people like me every day. I am a rare bird, ladies and gentlemen. So why not hit the subscribe button so you can see what a rare bird does on a daily basis? Hit the like button. Or if you can't stand all the goofy crap I say, and you can't stand it when I say hipster or any of the other things that I say, a hipster paradise, if you can't stand that, then hit the dislike button. It's good either way. It's awesome either way. Okay, let's see what's going on. Fluke says, bye, Phil. We will see you later. And Paul Smith says, I'm drinking wine, not Jack Daniels, but okay, I'll take a shot. And Shirzad Khan City says, man, how old is Anthony again? You know what? My age starts with the number 4. I won't tell you the other number, but I am in the 4s, if you know what I'm talking about. Maybe on the back 9 also, if you know what I'm talking about there. Kevgret says, I did watch Squishies, but that was something on a different website. Main Fan says, F that price, 25 bones, get the F out of Dodge. But you know what? This is on PlayStation VR. We don't necessarily have a ton of PSVR games that really take full and total advantage of using 2 move controllers at a time and picking things up, grabbing things, rotating, moving things around, pulling things closer, making your world bigger, making your world much smaller, raising it up, pulling it towards you. There's a lot of good interactivity there. And the other thing is, you got to remember, when a game is on PlayStation VR, they have to pay a licensing fee to Sony, and then they also have to pay that 30% cut. So you will see slightly higher prices typically on PlayStation VR compared to Steam. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Looking over at chat, that's basically everything. So we haven't quite gone an hour, because I know I was about 9 minutes late at the start of this. But you know what? I guess what we could do is we might want to take a look at some of the news. Let's check out the news. I haven't checked out any news whatsoever. Let's go ahead and check out everybody's favorite website, and that, of course, is Upload VR. So let's see what's going on. Are you in the UK? And you know what? Probably 90% of my viewers are in the UK. Okay, maybe not that much, but for some reason, I'm doing well in the UK from that standpoint. You can get an Oculus Rift plus Touch combination for £300. £300. Really? Man, is the Rift that much in the UK? That seems like a lot to me. But it's 25% off either way. So there you go. If you've been waiting for the Rift, there is your opportunity. Virtual desktop, the best way to access your PC from your Oculus Go. You know, that's kind of cool. I haven't really even thought about that. Like, I don't know why I would really want to access my PC from my Oculus Go, but I think it has something to do with prawn. Maybe it's an easy way to get prawn on your Go. I don't know. You know, there must be some reason somebody would want to do that. Or maybe watching 360 videos, 180 videos. Maybe if you have them stored on your PC, you know, maybe that's a possibility there. Oh, check this out, guys. Here is legitimate news, like actual real deal news. A Fisherman's Tale has a release window. Let's see what it is. The bad news, one of our most anticipated VR experiences of the year is no longer arriving in 2018. The good news, it's still not very far away. So let's see, it's developer, well, the developer isn't Vertigo Games. They are the publisher. The developer is Inner Space VR, and they are set to launch sometime in January 2019. Yeah, published by Arizona Sunshine developer Vertigo Games. Okay, my bad there. Inner Space, yeah. So it's coming in January, and it's going to hit the Rift, PSVR Vive, Windows Mixed Reality for $15. Hey, so it's not going to be tremendously expensive, so that's kind of good. So A Fisherman's Tale, and it looks like they've got maybe a new trailer, but I'm not going to grab that right now. Maybe we'll check that out tomorrow. But we do have a release window for A Fisherman's Tale, now headed early in January. I mean, early in 2019 in January. Dreamscape, immersive opening LA flagship location with new Wii VR experience. Okay, so it looks like Dreamscape Immersive is getting into the void kind of competition there. And Echo Combat is out there. You know, hardly anybody is talking about Echo Combat, right? Nobody really talks about Echo Combat. I mean, that came out on November 15th. Wasn't that like a really big, highly wanted, highly anticipated game? And honestly, I haven't seen anybody said, hey man, are you playing Echo Combat? Hey man, we're playing Echo Combat every day. Dude, you got to get into Echo Combat. Echo Combat is the bomb. Haven't really heard a lot of people talking about that. So I wonder if they're not doing so well over there. Charles Van Nolan says Anthony is 32. Now, you want to add a little bit to that. The first number is a 4. I will give you the 4 there. Scion VR says Squishies Game of the Year. I should be looking over here. My bad. Where are we now? Now I'm lost. Scroll down. Oh man, I'm way back here. Got to scroll all the way down. Okay, Scion VR says Squishies Game of the Year. Okay, maybe not Game of the Year, but it's pretty decent, solid game. I definitely want to play that quite a bit more. Shirzad Khan City says this might be a system seller. VR is saved, ladies and gents. And T-Dub, Fisherman's Tale at last. I know there was somebody in our chat that was pretty hyped on A Fisherman's Tale and was wondering when it was going to happen. And you can play your Steam games whilst in a cafe on your Go. Really? That would be pretty freaking awesome. And $10 kind of ruined Echo Combat. That is sure. I mean, $10 is nothing, though. That's a drop in a bucket. $9.99. That is hardly anything. You would think everybody would be super down with Echo Combat. And Hussein X is checking in. Hey, I play Echo Combat. It is a great game. Hussein X, do you have to deal with the kiddies, though? Are there a lot of youngsters in there crying and screaming? Because every time I get into anything Echo Arena, Echo whatever, a lot of kiddies out there, kind of like Rec Room in that way. Alrighty, guys. Well, I've been going on for a while here. Let me go ahead and grab my little logo outro real quick and say bye-bye to everybody. And like I said before, again, go ahead, subscribe to the channel, like the show, send me $1 million, buy me a Ferrari, Give me your winning lottery tickets. Do all of these things. It helps the show out tremendously. I can't even say it. It helps our show out tremendously. But no, seriously, subscribe, like, and comment. Subscribe, like, and comment. Subscribe, like, and comment. That's all you got to do. Subscribe to the show, like the show, and then comment to the video afterwards. And maybe if you really want to get creative, tell a buddy about the show. You know you got some buddies that like VR that have never, ever in their entire life heard of VR 3333 6666 55555. They've never heard of it. So let them know about it. VR 365. We are here on a daily basis. We are banging away on a daily basis. Technical difficulties be damned. We don't give a damn. We keep on banging. So that's going to go ahead and do it. I will be back tomorrow at 11 a.m. Pacific time on Thursday. I will be here. Gremlins, whatever. I don't give a damn. Job, Gremlins, technical difficulties. I will be here. Rain, spring, summer, and shine. I will be here 11 a.m. Pacific time. I will see you guys then. Have a good one. Later.